You're listening to SM Media, the number one place for exclusive Scottish football content.
You have the heart of a giant, show it. You got the pride of a lion, roaring. Maybe you need big love, you don't need to give up. 'Cause something real is waiting there for you. You've been flying solo, now it's time to let go. The only thing that's left for you to do.
Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Scottish Women's Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. Really excited to welcome this week Tommy Poneskis to the show. Tommy, welcome to the show from Jax McMedia. How are you doing? It's a pleasure.
I'm good, thanks very much, and thanks for having us on.
No, it's a pleasure. Thanks for accepting the invite. We obviously, I don't think I would get as much women's football results and help if it wasn't for yourself. So, first of all, thank you for that.
Oh, not a problem at all. We're always happy to help. We're here to promote the women's game, and
Yes.
that's why we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always as well. Like it's great for like sites like yourself, obviously, to just kind of results are obviously top four leagues, but a lot of kind of youth action as well. Tell us about Jax Media and how you kind of started it and what obviously the kind of purpose of it is, because it's always really good. It's like my go-to for women's football.
Mm-hmm. Well, we started it 7 years ago in the day. Jax was at the SWF. She was working for them, doing pretty much similar to what she's doing now. But they dispensed with her services, and she was like, well, what do I do now? When I worked, I was one of the directors there as well, and I had worked with her the year previous, and she said to me, well, what do we do now? And I said, well, I've got time. So, we just created Jax MC Media, and the reason we did it was because there wasn't the service there at that time. There are one or two others that have come along now, and that's absolutely great, you know what I mean? Because the more that the scores and things get out there, the better. Obviously, there's some of the scores that you would rather not put up, but that's covered with the social media policy, which we stick to, I wish a lot of the places would stick to the social media policy for the youth. But anyway, I'm digressing. So we started it from there. It was just simply on Twitter. It was just going to be like, promoting the game. And that's all it started off with. And then, we get people start sending in the scores, and we're like, okay, and we as you go on 7 years, you do make contacts. So we're now at the stage where we can, offer IT help, we can offer admin help, we send out photographers, videographers, everything, and we all do it for free. We pay for it all. Nobody else gives us money for it, which is something that we've done. 7 years is a long time to do that, but, we've kind of stayed away from advertising. We do get offers of advertising, but at this moment, we're not accepting them because we do it. It's our hobby. You know what I mean? It's a big hobby, but it's our hobby, yeah.
No, absolutely. It's really good. It's, as you say, putting time into things. I know myself, obviously, how hard it is, but it's a hobby, and it's something we all enjoy. And obviously, promoting the women's game, something that I think we're all keen to do, and we see it all kind of thriving as of now. How much have you seen kind of women's football grow in that kind of 7 years since you started?
Well, massively, because I've been involved, and so has Jax, in football for a lot longer than that. And at the beginning, there was like girls and boys teams. That was pretty much it. In fact, we weren't allowed to play football at school with the boys teams. And I saw that changing to the stage where the girls are now playing in boys teams. However, Scottish schools have come along, and they're doing a brilliant job, but they're having girls teams, and you've got boys and girls clubs for Scotland as well, who are also doing international games as well. And that means that the kids that maybe don't get picked up for nationals can go along onto them, and they actually play against Wales and England, and they have a great time. And they also get capped as well, and they love it. You can always see the photographs always come in, and we're first putting them up, love it. So it's really, really good. The changes in the game dramatically went up when Scotland went to France. That was just massive. Everything, it was going up slowly. There was numbers there. They went there, boom. Everybody's like, oh, girls can play football now. You still have a hardcore of people, I'm not going to say men because it's not always men, who don't like the idea that girls and women play football. And it's naiveness on their part, they don't obviously watch it. I mean, I watch guys football, I watch women's football. I watch guys football. I'm sitting there half the time going, well, you just get up Well, that wouldn't happen in a women's game. Just get up. You know what I mean? And you know, do we teach them to win a foul? And I hear that on in the commentary. Oh, he's just won a foul and he's won a foul. And, you know, in the girls' game, it's like she just swiped her right. That's a foul. There's a difference. There's a key difference. It just seems like the girls just want to get up, go on it and play the football, and they're not interested in all the rest of it, you know. And I think that's a breath of fresh air. If you look at any, especially the youth games, and you see the like, you know, 5, 6, 7-year-olds coming through. I've actually saw some of the girls who are playing in the Premier League. I saw them playing when they were like 11, 12 and 13. So, it's massively come on because the pathway is now there. It's proven because you just need to look at like Spartans. You've got Robin McCafferty, you've got so many. I can go through them all. You know, Erwin Clackers at Glasgow City. From youth, she played the boys' team when she was like 7. And she went in goals because there was nothing else. Now she's at Glasgow City goal team. It's amazing what the opportunities that they've got, and you know, she's in the Champions League. Of course, she goes away with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
No, definitely. And we'll touch on obviously the results over the weekend. A busy weekend as always, but we'll go through the results individually in the SWPL 1. We'll start with Glasgow Women 1, Partick Thistle 8. Now, 2 teams I would say that were badly in need of a victory, but Partick Thistle, I think, a massive boost of confidence for them going to Glasgow Women and winning 8-1. Jordan McClintock with a hat-trick, goals for likes of Rachel Donaldson, Cara Henderson, Cheryl McCulloch. Really good performance of Partick Thistle, and I think a much-needed one because it's their first one of the season, and I think it's tough for like Glasgow Women, for example. I think we all knew they were going to struggle coming up to the top flight, and obviously the first day they lost to Rangers quite heavy. But as you say, they're not giving up. It's just like that's the big thing. I think that yeah, you might get some hard results, but as long as you're showing the kind of courage and fight to try and kind of limit the score, then I think it takes great admiration. I think all the players deserve credit, but Partick Thistle, how big a win would that be for them? Because obviously, getting that, they've not had a bad start. They've had 2 draws, 3 defeats. They've not had what would you say, a terrible start. They've just not had a win on the board. But to get a win, to score 8 goals, as you say, the goals, kind of 6 different goal scorers as well. Jordan McClintock getting a hat trick, really impressive performance.
It was nothing short of night and day for some of the performance that I've seen. And you know, the quality is always there, the passing, the moving, the way they held the ball up, the way they waited and the rest of them to come up and come into play, and then the ball was put in. It wasn't just like, you know, hit the ball, run. There was none of that. And that's not the kind of football you want to see. You want to, as a spectator, you want to watch a game and say, do you know what? The scoreline was heavy, but the game was actually really, really good. You know what I mean? There was good quality for both teams. Glasgow girls, yeah, we knew they would struggle a bit coming up, but in saying that, you know, I mean, they played some good football as well, because in highlight shows and things like that, you don't actually get to see the full game, you know. So you don't really appreciate the hard work that they put in. But I had a team contact me that were beat, shall we say, double figures in the ladies, and they contacted me, and I was speaking to them, and I said, like, I says, a scoreline like that isn't an end to something. A scoreline like that is a start. It's where you develop. That's where you start. You go for there and you say, right, can we make it 14 next week? Can we make it 12? Can we, you know, and by the end of next year, you're winning 2 or 3-0. And that's progress, and that's the development in the game that has to happen. Unfortunately, when you get to that stage, you know, you're like 16 or 15 or whatever, it's heavy on you, you know. But, well, it will affect the girls, Glasgow girls. But in saying that, I would say to them, you know, keep your head up, keep going, because we're watching the progress, not of a game. We're watching the progress of a season. Do you know what I mean? So you'll be judged at the end of your season by the progress you've made. And that could be your goalkeepers made so many saves, or, you know, you picked up so many goals along the way. Whatever it is, you picked up points at the end of the season or the beginning of the season. You picked up something which is where you go for, you know, 8-1 next week, you try harder and you go again. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, it's accurate. I think it's hard to disagree with that. I think as well, the likes of Partick Thistle, they will have, maybe the wrong kind of phrase what I'm going to say, but they would have been expecting to win the game. So, in a kind of way of looking at it as well, as Partick Thistle, they've maybe went 2 or 3-0 up and thought, right, we need goals in the board, because it could all come down to goal difference with them. So they've saw that as a big opportunity. But again, I think both teams here I've got a lot of respect for for that. Obviously, with Glasgow women, they're coming up. They knew it was going to be tough, and we all knew it was going to be tough. But the fact of, as you say, not giving in, scoring as well, getting that wee consolation, just a wee bit of pride as well. It will do world of good for confidence as well, and just a bit of kind of, because it's never easy, obviously losing by high margins, but just any wee positives to take are always good.
It's always the same when you get a team that's coming up. They're always going to have it really tough to begin with because they have to learn about these other teams because they've been in a league for maybe 2-3 years where they know the other teams and they know how to play against them. So when they come up, these are all different teams. You do as much studying it as you like. But when it comes down to it, you've got, new teams. You don't know how they're going to change things or play or whatever. And yeah, it was a cracking goal, by the way, the Glasgow girls goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, big result for Partick Thistle, and obviously we just hope Glasgow win. It'd be good to see them getting some points on the board and just getting some.
I keep calling them Glasgow girls. I apologise.
Not at all, but we'll move into Aberdeen now. Celtic 3, Clarissa Larissi, Jacinta, and Lucy Clifford with the 3 goals for Celtic to continue their 100% record. I've been really impressed with Celtic so far. I was worried with the loss at I keep saying it in this show. Celtic keep proving me wrong because I thought the goals they lost last year with Charlie Wellens, but the likes of Larissi and Jacinta, they're contributing, and they're consistent players who are contributing high doses as well. How impressed have you been with Celtic so far?
Well, I mean, the thing is that there is a case as an example. Sorry, there's an example of someone who's been somewhere which is like nearly doing it or whatever, and getting beat, but then taking that and building on it. So they're building on it. So I go back and I look at that, the company you were talking about, and they're building on that. So each one of those victories on the way up, whatever it is, 3-2, whatever, doesn't really matter. It's the game at the end of the day, the points, the way they played it, they pressed high. They always do. They press high. They keep pressure on the ball. They're willing to take that wee risk, they step up, and the back line comes up quite high and it joins in, so it feels like the whole lot of them are attacking you. And that's what it should be. That's good football. And yeah, Jacinta on fire, you know what I mean? But then you expect that because she's just legendary when it comes to football. She's just one of these sort of Ronaldo types, if you like. But it's just when the ball comes to her, it's the total control. Mm-hmm. It's like, I know where it's going before I touch that ball. Mm-hmm. And when you watch her, it's very close. Everything she does is close contact. The ball comes to her. She's holding it, she's waiting, she's moving, and her movement in the box is superb.
Mm-hmm. And Celtic, obviously, they'll rely on players like that. But on the other side of that, Aberdeen, 1 point for 6 games. Obviously, Celtic, they're not expected to get a victory there. But what have you made of their start so far? Are you kind of worried about how they've performed, or would you expect maybe a bit more so far?
No, I think they're young. I think, having looking at them and that, I think they've got a good youth setup. So what they're doing is incorporating that. So they're building on the experience they have with the girls they're bringing through, which is great. I'm not particularly worried about them, but wins will come. They'll get to a stage where it's going to happen. When the least they expect something, they're going to grab something big. You know what I mean? And it could be anybody. Could be one of the top 2, top 3. They don't expect it, and I've seen them playing, and they're very, very good, excellent in defence. They do keep letting in goals, obviously, but some of them, as you say, going against Celtic, it's going to be a hard task all the time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because, as I say, you're playing against quality players. Not that the other teams aren't quality, however, the girls at Celtic just seem to be that wee step above them, at the moment. And they'll know that themselves. But, the thing is that they get the respect from teams like Celtic because they go out, it takes 2 teams to make a game. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? So, if I was Aberdeen, I'd actually wouldn't be too worried at this stage.
Yeah. And as you say, I think once they get a few runs, because I think they played all 3. I think they played all the big 3 so far. So once they get a run against the likes of Hamilton, Partick Thistle, things like that, they maybe will pick up points on the board. I think they'll be desperate to get a win just for confidence, but
it'll come.
It will come. I think Definitely. It will come. Yeah. One of the games of the weekend, I watched this game, thoroughly enjoyed it. Dundee United 3, Hamilton 2. Hamilton were 2-1 up, and Dundee United just managed to to seal it in the last 30 minutes. Danny McGinley and Robin Smith scoring the 2 goals for the D United to give them the 3 points. Takes the D United to 7 points with 6 games. Hamilton are sitting with 6 points with 6 games. Kind of big result for the D United, but Hamilton will probably be kicking themselves out then they at least get something out of the game.
I would think they would be, because, you know, as you say, it was blood and guts. You know what I mean? It was everything put into it from both sides. Formations, you know, managers got it right. Really good. And again, another good advertisement for the game. The you know, watching it, you're like, I'd go there, I'd watch that, and that's what it should be about. Do you know what I mean? Both teams really, really good. Lucy Sinclair, obviously, for Hamilton's just stalwart. You know, he just motors away. You've got, you know, so many different options out there that could go in there, but I think that Gary does a really good job with the girls. I think he does. Actually quite impressed with that, you know, performance. You know, 2-1 up, then to go 3-2 down is difficult. But I don't think Gary will let it bother him. He'll be like, right, next week's the next week we need to go on. And it's the right attitude, you know. Dundee United come back, fantastic goals. Those were fantastic goals. No doubt they are excellent. I've watched them before, and I've got some really good players in that squad. Chloe Clemenson as well, just another one who's, you know, just cracking players that come up for the youth and are now showing the youth what they can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you said, Danny McGinley, Rachel Todd, they've got so many good players in that team. And a lot of people thought with Dundee United to be able to handle the step up, I think they'll be fine. I think they've got a really solid team. And the fact they went 2-1 down and came back, it shows you they've got resilience, and I think they're more than capable of proving themselves well at this level.
I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. But Rangers, obviously, the Champions League match during the week against Benfica. I watched the game. I thought Benfica were a really good side. I thought Rangers gave a really good fight, but I thought Benfica were really, really impressive. I thought they were just a bit better on the night, and I think it's a tough ask for Rangers to go to Portugal. Before we get into talk about Rangers' game on Saturday, what was your thoughts on the game on Wednesday? Did you watch it?
I didn't actually get to watch it, no.
Right.
However, I've seen highlights and things like that. I thought that, yeah, you're right. You are right. The other team were just slightly better on the day. It's just, you know, a different type of football, and it's a learning curve for them. But I wouldn't write them off going out there.
No, I wouldn't either.
I really wouldn't write them off, because you know, I could sit here and bring the whole team and say any one of them can do something that's just unexpected. So I wouldn't be writing them off just yet. You know what I mean? Hopefully they go in and win. It'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't completely write them off. The thing that stuck out to me about Benfica, a few of their forward players, their first touch was unbelievable. It was actually breathtaking to watch, and they seem to kind of just be kind of a bit silkier, I think. But I'm not going to get right Rangers off, because I think they've got a terrific chance going over there, and I think they've maybe going away from home will maybe suit them. So it'll be interesting. I was a bit surprised there wasn't more people at Ibrox on Wednesday night. Actually, I don't think there was a big attendance as I thought. But again, it's maybe just obviously kind of the time of night. If it was a weekend, I think it'd be fit. I think you'd get a lot more people there. But I was just surprised about how kind of, I thought it'd be a lot more than what there was at the game. But a great advert. Obviously, it'll be great for the players as well to play at Ibrox in a European game, their first Champions League occasion in a ground like that. They'll really enjoy it. But they came into the game against Motherwell on Sunday, a 4-0 routine. It was a relatively routine victory. Arnott, Howitt, Hay, McCoy before the 4 goals. Rangers are they're relentless, and it's that thing as well. You think like a tough game like that on Wednesday, there might have been a hangover, but it was relatively simple. It was just as routine as you can get.
It was really good to watch. There's one part of it I want to touch on. Offside or not offside? What's the goal?
I think it was offside.
I thought she was off.
Sure.
However, the ref was right, because he didn't give it. Whether it was off or not, he didn't blow the whistle for it. The lino, he put his flag up. But it's a goal, because you know what, you continue on, just play on. The goalkeeper was unlucky not to, you know, realise what was going on, which made the goal look probably one of the easiest ones that we scored. But no, I thought that the Rangers passing was excellent. I thought the way that they took the wing on, crossed the ball in, perfect. Do you know what I mean? So many times it was a ball in, it was a ball down the wing, ball in. And again, defensively, they couldn't be touched. It was just brilliant. You know,
Yeah.
it's a masterclass of a once.
The new signing is it Wolf? I think she looks really good. I
aye.
was really impressed with her. She just
Definitely.
her vision. She had a lot. She was picking a lot of passes out. Like I was sitting taking back, going right. Okay, that's I wouldn't even have seen that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and just really impressive. The thing with this Rangers team is as well. You look at Lizzie Arnott, kind of Brogan Hay. They've got so much depth, and they're just what they're going to if they go far in Europe, which if they beat Benfica, I think they will have a good chance of going forward in Europe. But are they going to handle that rotation well? I think they will.
I think they will.
Yeah,
absolutely, because you know they've got a big squad, which is it's not just like a big squad with bench warmers. You've got a big squad of rotation players. Do you know what I mean? It's no, you know, that's a horrible expression, bench warmers, but you know what I mean. People that go along and sit and wait on their chance. I don't mean that they're all good today, but you know you'll get that, and they've got a big squad, and they will have people that are on the bench. But the difference is those people on the bench will come on like they'll get 20 minutes, whatever, and they're game changers. And you get that in football. You know, you just know when they're coming on. You're thinking, like, this is different. And, you know, and the tactics that goes in with that, I mean, you've got to praise the management, you know what I mean? Just been outstanding this last couple of years. And the youth setup as well, it's fantastic. Because a lot of the girls that are coming up, you know, are getting a chance now at the first team and that's just something that's unbelievable, you know?
Yeah.
And their girls teams, yeah, they don't win all games because, you know, that wouldn't be right because they've got to learn. But no, they're doing exceptionally well at the moment.
And it's funny we touch on that because obviously if you maybe have seen the Rangers chairman, the deputy chairman John Bennett's interview during the week where he was talking about the women's team, and he said an interesting thing that stuck with me all week. He said when they won the league, he said "Yous are pioneers," and I think that's a bang on what he said because that team coming from obviously Glasgow City were so dominant, and to break that dominance and now look as if they can go on that kind of dominant run as well. That team's so collective, and you see that with they're all together. They're all promoting the get to Ibrox and things like that. They're so in sync, and you see that in the park because they're so well connected, and the chemistry just looks brilliant in my opinion.
It's fantastic. I mean, if you go and watch them, you watch them training, even you'll see that chemistry isn't just a show on the day, because a lot of teams can be a show on the day and that's it. No. That's when they come in for training, they go into the building, and the minute they come in, that's it. Do you know what I mean? They go away and it's still the same. You can see that sort of camaraderie, you know, sisterhood, if you like, because that's what they're doing. You know, they're just joining together so well, and they're gelling. That's what I'm looking for. They've gelled so well together, and then even anybody coming in has to fit in there. Because they're not going to change it. It's got to fit into that plan and, you know, the one system that they have. You know, it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Another tremendous result for Rangers. Obviously, keep their position at the top of the league. Glasgow City, another team sitting at their Glasgow City have joined Celtic Rangers in 18 points as well. A 2-0 victory over Hearts. But obviously, before we get into the game, Claire Shine obviously announced her retirement due to her obviously kind of personal situation. We're wishing Claire all the best and just a remarkable person as well. Just obviously, we hope she rekindles her love. I don't know if she'll ever come back playing, but she's obviously taking time out, and we wish her all the best for that. But just talk about her impact as well in the game, because you just see just how well she fitted into that Glasgow City team, and they're parading her around the park, they're clapping her going off in her final game. They loved her and she loved them, and that's absolutely fair to say. I think just talk about her kind of impact in that team and obviously how much she'll be missed in Scottish football.
Well, she's going to be a huge loss to Scottish football, you know, and obviously everybody in Jax McMedia wish her well as well, you know, because there's, you know, it's difficult when you make a decision like that and you're so public, because then obviously that just draws more attention to you, and that's probably not what she's wanting. But you know, we appreciate everything she's done. She's just fantastic, you know. Having been at the side of your pitch watching her and listening to the kids. I mean, you know, I'm going to be her. I'm going to be her. What? I'm going to be her. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be Claire. You know what I mean? And that's who they want to be. So that's a role model. You know, stalwart in the game, great player. She brought her own. I mean, you knew when she was on the pitch, I think the other teams knew when she was on the pitch as well. She just seemed to bring them all together and gel them. So it's a bit of a worry that she's away. But I mean, obviously, we all wish her well.
No, definitely, yeah, definitely. But just, I think, looking at it in a kind of personal point of view as well, I think you know yourself. If you're not in the right frame of mind, then there's no point pretending you are. And I think that's the stage she's got to. So I think it's a massive kind of respect to her as well for making that decision, because football's a life, and obviously to make that decision that you need to step away, I think it takes enormous credit. And just, as I say, we'll both agree we're wishing her all the very best. But she was there for a 2-0 victory, a solid display against Hearts. Clark Davidson with the 2 goals. Relatively routine again, not really much kind of in the way they've been getting it done. They haven't been flash, Glasgow City, so far this season, but they're getting the results. And again, you'd rather the results than the performances in most cases.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the 3 points count. You know what I mean? So it's 1-10, whatever, it doesn't matter. A goal goes in. That's the game won if you can hold on it, and that's actually good management. Managing the team like that and getting them to realise, look, we can still win, we can still be up the top, we're still elite if it's a 1-0 defeat. You know what I mean? Sorry, a 1-0 win. And then that way you can actually just, see how they're doing it bit by bit. They're not flashing all over the place. They're still getting spells of brilliance. But as you say, they're not shining all over the place. But they don't need.
No, they don't need to. And they're getting the results as well, and they've got that good chemistry as well. But final game we'll touch on in SWPL 1, Spartans 2, Hibs 2. All reports, I've spoken to a few people that were at a game. A draw is probably a fair result. I think Spartans scored directly from Hibs kick-off as well. So very even result in my opinion.
Spartans took the game to Hibs. It was really, Hibs answered them, obviously, and it was a good crowd there, and it was a good game. And there's a few obviously standout players in that, but I mean, it was just end to end. It's one of those games where I was there, I enjoyed it. And you want to say that I wasn't there actually, but you want to say that I was there. I enjoyed that game. And, it gets people talking, gets kids talking. It's a great advert for football. It's a draw at the end of the day. Nobody's upset, get away or whatever. Both teams can hold their head up because, there was some performances that were outstanding. I thought Yates was brilliant in goal for Spartans. She was just really good. I thought Robin McCafferty, again, I think she got their player of the match on their, I think it was on their Twitter page or something. But Robin's just brilliant to watch. As I said, seen her since she was young, but she developed on so much with the game, and she can just sit there and control the back. Just very, very good. But yeah, again, Hibs. Would you say that Hibs? I mean, it's a road they're on, but at the same time, they're just firing. You know what I mean? Some of those, moves they were making on the pitch, I'm like, you're enjoying watching it. You know what I mean? And then, like, how did they do that? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, but a good weekend in SWPL 1. We'll move into SWPL 2. We'll start with not a lot of goals in this division over the weekend. It was quite a kind of dull weekend, but obviously there was a big game between Gartcairn and St Johnstone. Gartcairn won, St Johnstone nil. Gartcairn moved levelling points with St Johnstone and ended their unbeaten run so far. Hugely impressive result for Gartcairn, and Dion Brown with a goal. She just does it time and time again for Gartcairn.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't actually seen anything of that game, but heard reports and things like that. And yeah, I think it was a tight game. I do think it was a tight game, but as I said a minute ago, 1 goal equals a win. And St Johnstone will be happy with not winning that game. And because they're like that. If you don't win a game, push yourself till you get to the next one. You've got your captain Hannah Clark in St Johnstone, and she's just like that. Pushes herself all the time and pushes everybody else and brings them all along. And I think that's a great quality in a captain.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big result for Gartcairn, obviously going levelling points. I think these two teams, I thought at the start of the season, these two, Kilmarnock, I thought those three would be going towards the top of the table. And Kilmarnock, I think they'll maybe feel a missed opportunity. They had to a really late goal for Mary Jackson to get a point at home to Stirling Uni, who took the lead through McPhail. All reports that Stirling Stirling took the lead. Kilmarnock found it really hard to break them down right until the end, but I think Kilmarnock will feel that was 2 points dropped.
I think they probably will, to be honest with you. Stirling have just got that resilience, you know what I mean? And sometimes they get just churn a goal out from nowhere, you know. But it's their defensive shape that's just fantastic, and it's hard to break now.
Aye, absolutely. And Montrose, they obviously picked up the opportunity as well. A 1-0 win away to Queen's Park. Erin Henderson with the goal. She's in loan for Spartans, I believe. That's a big result for Montrose as well, because even though Gartkill and St Johnstone are sitting top of the league, you want to keep the pressure on. You want to be close, and they're only 2 points away from the top of the league, and they'll be certainly wanting to overtake the first chance they get.
Yeah, Montrose are a team that are up and coming, shall we say. They're really good. They've done extremely well over that last year, and they're doing well at the moment. And they're pushing and pushing, and you know, you want to see that. You want competition. You don't want to only give one team. You want 3 or 4 pushing for that top, trying to get past each other, and that's what you've got. That is what you've got. Montrose are just on fire at the moment.
Yeah, big result for Montrose as well. Final game in SWPL 2, Boroughmuir 0, East Fife 0. I've got to be honest, I didn't see East Fife getting their first point of the season here. I don't know really much about East Fife. Obviously, you'll know a bit better than me. What's your kind of thoughts on them coming up and how they've started?
They have a lot of potential, and they've come up, and I think they've had a wee bit of a rocky start, if I'm honest with you. But I would never rule them out because they are a quality side. They've got a lot of great players in there, and they will gel. They've been together. A lot of them have been together, you know, quite a few years, and it just clicks. And when it clicks for them, it'll just, you know, they'll start putting the goals in and things like that, you know. And they do have a lot of speed on the wings, and you know, I mean, I could sit and mention about half a dozen of their players that are just brilliant, you know, to watch a game with them. It's delightful. It really is. I've been to a lot of their games, and the football that they play is constantly brilliant. Of course, you've got Liz Anderson there as well playing, and she's just a stalwart. She's one of the legends of the game, and she just, it's like conducting an orchestra at times. You know what I mean? You see it, and you think that's fantastic. She's like, she notices something, and she'll say, you know, move her, you know, go in there or whatever. Brilliant. She does brilliant at that. So no, I mean, it's Boroughmuir are a good team. They're a really good team, but I was hoping that East Fife might have taken a couple of points.
Yeah, I obviously you'll know as well, but Boroughmuir, I think Boroughmuir are a good side as well. I think they'll probably feel it was 2 points dropped as well, because I don't know how the game went, but I think I would have fancied Boroughmuir to win that game comfortably, especially after the start. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But as I say, I'm kind of hoping East Fife kind of pick up, because they've came up. Gartkill and Montrose have hit the ground running. I'd be keen to see how East Fife got on as well. But another, I mean, not a goal fest in SWPL 2, but obviously still competitive action as well. We'll move into the SWF Championship. We'll just run through the results. Rossvale 0, Renfrew 5, Hutchie 2, Ayr 5, Morton 3, Dryborough Athletic 3, and Inverness 2, Livingston 3. This was the opposite. This was very much a goal fest. I think there was an average of 5 goals a game over the 4. So always a league that's entertaining for goals.
Oh, definitely it is. I mean, it's like any of the leagues down to the SWPL. You always get goals because they're constantly end to end. You know what I mean? It's not that the top teams aren't they, but it's more sort of played in longer patches. Some of them are a wee bit harder to play against than others, and you know, there's all these different constraints. You know. And I think that they do fantastically, and it's a great league. It's a great league. But if you want to go and watch and see goals, go to the games there, because you will get goals.
Oh yeah, definitely. And again, a game that caught my eye before the weekend was Rossvale versus Renfrew. Both in 12 points, both sitting top of the league. I thought this might be a tight contest, but a very impressive performance from Renfrew. 5-0 away to Rossvale, and that is, if that's not a statement regarding kind of making a bold statement in regard to the title, I think that's, I don't know what is, because as you say, Shireen McLeod with a double, really impressive display from Renfrew, and I think it's a big, bold statement.
Definitely. I mean, Renfrew doing that, you know, especially when losing 12 points, was just like the result come in and we're looking at it going, what's that result? You know, it's one of them, you're expecting, you know, maybe a draw or maybe 2-0 or 1-0, and it come in and I went, and of course, we're immediately going, better find out what's happened. Something's happened. It's just a good game. You know what I mean? One team won by more than the other ones, you know, and it's one of these things, you know. You win some, you lose some, and that was just one that was won and lost. But I do feel for them, to be honest with you. 5-0,
I didn't see it coming at all. I thought this would be a tight game. I thought there'd be goals in it, but I didn't think there'd be 5 towards one side. But again, Renfrew, I think there's a lot to like about their start so far. And I think, as you say, Sinead McLeod scoring a double. Nicole Wilkie's been really impressive so far this season. They've got a lot of really good players. Livingston they made a statement as well. They went to Inverness, never an easy place to go, picked up a big 3-2 that takes them to second. Massive win for Livingston as well. They've been really impressive so far.
They have actually. They just seem to have that quality where it's like they'll learn from the mistake, but learn quickly. And then they come on like that. That's very impressive, that result, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Another team that picked up a big win was Ayr, 5-2 away to Hutchie Vale. Hannah Tyson with a hat-trick and Claire Docherty with a double. Big result for Ayr, gets them obviously onto 6 points for 6 games. They'll really be happy with that, going to Hutchie and winning 5-2.
Oh, definitely. I mean, especially hat-trick, you know, it's one of these things, eh? Everybody wants to score the hat-trick because you remember that game forever.
Definitely.
I think it was a quality performance from Lockville. And I think both teams did well.
Yeah, I actually think they were 1-0 down as well. So it shows you they've kicked on and a really impressive result. And I think they will, obviously knowing Ayr and knowing a lot of people at the club, I think they will get a wee run going. And I don't think I think top 3 will maybe be out of sight, but I think they'll certainly be the best of the rest. I think they're a really good team. Morton 3, Dryborough 3, Alma Cadogan with a double for Dryborough as well. All reports a very even game, but very end-to-end. 2 teams probably evenly matched, and a draw was probably a fair result.
I think so, yeah, definitely. For what I've heard, it was a really good game. Never, ever underestimate the Dryborough. Never. Because you see the results coming in, and before they're coming in, you're sitting there going, flip a coin. Because they can be really awesome. You know, it's a 6-goal game. If I paid money to go and watch a 6-goal game, I'd be delighted. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what you go to watch, goals. And I know there would have been a lot of sort of spectators there because Dryborough has really got a lot of people that travel as well as, you know, loads of home fans and that. And it's a good community up there in Dundee. You know, and they did really, really well. Yeah,
big result as well for Dryborough. Getting a second point on the board. They had a draw last week as well. One game in the SWF League One, Stenhousemuir 1-2-1 away to Grampian and Jude Connolly by double. Jude Connolly, I think, is sitting in 9 goals so far this season. She has had a very impressive start and another big win for Stenhousemuir.
Yeah, it's a huge one. I watched the game and first 10-15, I didn't think there was anything to call between the two. And, you know, the goals, all 3 goals were fantastic. I enjoyed watching them. As you say about Jude Connolly, she just seemed to boss her area. When the ball came there, it was her area, it was her ball. She turned them, she twisted, she took shots. It was great. That's what you want to see in a game. And, you know, 9 goals is testament to how well she's doing. And Stenhousemuir just surprising everybody, I think.
And it's a big statement as well. See, when you're the only game of the weekend, obviously with the cup that we'll touch on in a second, to get that win. And can I go to them? I'm just going to look in the table. They're sitting in 4th place and only 2 points behind Falkirk as well. It's because you can get to when you're the only game of the weekend. You just want to get that one on the board. And Grampian were obviously thereabouts as well. I think there was only a point between them getting into the game. To get that win just gives you a bit of breathing space, and I think that certainly kicks you on for a good performance in the next couple of weeks. But we'll touch on the cup games quickly just before we kind of wrap up the show. For the Championship and League One Cup, we'll just go through the results. Giffnock 4, Airdrie 1, Edinburgh Caledonia 3, BSC 0, Glenaffer 0, West Dyke 4, and FC Edinburgh 4, St Mirren 0. What was your overall result out of there for that caught your eye?
St Mirren.
St Mirren.
I didn't expect that.
I've been really impressed with FC Edinburgh so far.
No, I have as well. But seen St Mirren recently and really tight. I thought, you know, that they've just got something that's pushing an edge. Obviously not. So I don't know what happened.
Likes of West Dyke as well. I mean, they've been so impressive the past few weeks as well. And it shows you as well with this cup as well. It's really good for the women's game, this Championship and League One Cup, because it gives them something else other than the league to focus on. and I'm really keen to see how this cup goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that is going to be us for this week. I want to thank Tommy for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And please check out Jax Media for all the kind of women's football results and updates as well. It's a really good service. You will enjoy it. Thank you very much for everyone that's tuned in. Please follow and subscribe to our YouTube podcast channels, and follow us as always on social media for consistent women's football coverage. Thanks very much, everyone. See you soon. Cheers.
Let go.